Hey everybody, Karyn Bryant here, and today kicking back with me, I've got Westin Wilson, fresh off the win at UFC Vegas 93 over Jeka Saragi. Hey, listen, how good does that feel? You got the 12th, only the 12th combination triangle armbar in UFC history.
I felt great. I think it's kind of homage to my jiu-jitsu coach, Jiva, who's the arm collector. He always calls me the net collector. So be able to do my own thing with his thing is kind of cool.
So, going into this fight, did you think this was a guy that you'd be able to submit? Is that how you figured you'd be able to win the fight?
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. When we got the fight, we watched some footage. Coach Thompson and we got together and it was like, look, we're not going to try to stand. We're not going to try to do anything. Like, it is take him to the mat and sub him. And we knew going in, it didn't matter if I was top, bottom. We would send him anywhere. So it was just get him to the ground and start hunting necks.
Nice. So for those who don't know, when you say Coach Thompson, you're talking about Ray Thompson, you're talking about Stephen Thompson's dad, Wonderboy, of course.
Wonder
And so it
Dad.
was kind of
Yep.
great to see those guys in your corner, and I love to see it. So, and you see Stephen as like a proud big brother or something to you.
Yeah.
You
No,
can tell
no, he is like a big brother. We hang out all the time,
yeah.
and it was nice having him in the corner. Uh, and just like his energy is always, so laid back. He's a golden retriever. He's a Hufflepuff. And so like having that energy is just, it's always nice. It's always fun. And, it's a good way for me to vibe off of that energy going into the cage.
Yeah, it is such a great energy. And how is it that you came to find them? Because some people don't know you actually spent a lot of time living in Brazil. That's correct, right?
Yeah. So I graduated high school in Brazil. Well, I'm not Brazilian,
Yeah.
but, my dad's job took us to Brazil. And then when I went to BYU, in Provo, Utah.
Yeah.
And then we kind of moved around. I worked in software, so I bounced around a bunch of different software companies. But I was working for a company in California. That's where I was training with Jiva Santana, Alex Perez, all of those guys. And then we had an office in Greenville, so I was coming out here a couple of times a year. And so that's where I got linked up with Steven and Coach Thompson. And I loved Greenville so much. I was like, hey, will you guys transfer me to Greenville? And so my job like transferred me out here, and I've been here ever since. And so I've been with them for 5 years now.
Awesome, awesome. Well, it works out so well. It's interesting too, though, when we look at you, and because I feel like this was like you have a lot of submission wins, 11 or 12.
Submission wins. Yeah. I think it was my 12th, 13th.
I think so. Yeah, I think it was a 12. In fact, I think I might still have some of the paperwork over here. But when looking at you in the matchup, like you have such length and reach advantage over people. Sometimes they're like, oh well, he could come out here. Or you could just use your jab and be really effective in front kicks and stuff like that. So it's kind of funny then all of a sudden to see you then locking up subs. You're a difficult guy for people to face. And I feel like you're a tricky matchup. Have you heard that before?
Yeah. And so I think because in the beginning of my career, a lot of my wins were knockouts.
Yeah.
And I think what started happening, especially as I transitioned over to train with Steven, was people were like, I call myself like the Walmart brand Wonderboy. I'm like the cheap version of Wonderboy. So what started happening on the regional scenes, everyone's like, oh, that's Wonderboy's teammate.
Yeah.
Don't strike with them. And so they would just get like really desperate and take these crazy shots, and they'd give me the neck. And so my jujitsu just started developing in live time, like in fights, because nobody wanted to stand with me. And so now like I'm kind of in the opposite, where I'm like, I haven't struck in an actual fight that I'm like, I don't feel as comfortable now in the fight striking. I shouldn't say that. I mean, I'm a good second round guy, but I haven't been in the second round in 6 years. So I'm a good second round striker. Other than that, like I'm going to grapple the first round. But yeah, so like it just started developing that way, where guys would just take me down and I would just look to take a neck or an arm or whatever I could get.
That makes sense. I mean, that does make sense, but it's funny that you say your second round. in first round if you're going to go for your bread and butter and go for what you know works. But I also do. It's funny because I was just talking to Brady Heastan, and it's some people. The first rounds aren't so great, even though he had a good first round. But like the second round is stressful or something. It's like, the ebb and flow of a fight is interesting. Do you find that sometimes in a fight though you need to, I don't know, like get tagged a little to wake up type thing, or is it just that you want to do what you can do in the first round, and if it comes to the second round, then we'll see what happens.
So Steven's a Hufflepuff. I'm a Slytherin. I'm going to take any opportunity I can get. To be honest, this was like the first fight in probably 4 or 5 fights where I actually had a game plan. Normally I go in and I'm like, I'm just going to take whatever they want to do. I'm going to go like, ebb and flow with it.
Yeah.
And so like, I'm an opportunist. I just look for the opportunities. This one was like, no, we're just going to take him to the ground and we're going to force the opportunity. And, so yeah, like that's my fighting style. Like I'm going to just take whatever is given to me. And, yeah, so I don't know. Like I haven't been outside the first round in 6 years though. So I can't tell you what my second round would be. I can tell you like my pro boxing debut was a 6-round boxing match.
Yeah.
That was the first time I went. That was the first time Coach T's ever corner coached me in between rounds.
Right.
And it was so scary having him yell at me. I was like, I don't like this coach. He's like, you're a professional athlete. Just take it.
Right.
Yelling at me. But yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like I get better as the fight goes on, but I either get knocked out in the first round or I find a submission in the first round. That's just how my life goes, I guess.
That's all right. We just need to make sure every time you fight from here on in, we're going to have to tell people, look, make sure you're in your seat for round 1 because you may not get around to it. Round 1's going to be exciting. Well, so listen, before I let you go, yesterday was Father's Day and you have 3 little girls, right? So
I do. Yep.
that was something that must have been exciting to like get that win the day before Father's Day and stuff. So how did you celebrate with your girls?
So I didn't get to celebrate. That my girls are out of town. They're in Oklahoma with their other grandparents and with their cousins and aunts and uncles. So I was actually just traveling back. So Coach T and I spent Father's Day together in the airport.
Okay.
And I will make it up next weekend when they get back in town. So we delayed Father's Day a week.
Okay. All right. Well, though, you are doing things correctly in terms of being a professional fighter because you have all girls. I know. I don't know if you know that is the thing. Like more often than not, professional fighters have daughters. Yeah.
No, I love it too. I think they make me into a better person. I definitely like. I'm not a very emotional person, but I have to like be a little bit softer and comfort a little bit more than I would. Like if I had a boy, I'd probably be too hard on him and probably he'll grow up with daddy issues. But with my girls, like I'm able to like comfort them and spoil them and everything else. And so I do enjoy it. And all 3 of them are different. They all have different personalities, all different interests and things like that. Like my oldest, she's like my carbon copy. She tries to do everything I do. She'll do jiu-jitsu tournaments. She'll do
nice.
And she's in better shape than me. She like doesn't even breathe through her mouth when she does jiu-jitsu tournaments. She'll just keep her mouth completely closed and breathe through her nose. And I'm like, you gotta breathe. And she's not even like breathing heavy afterwards. I'm like, all right, get it done. That's fine. So yeah, I enjoy it. I love having my girls. They're they're my reason why. They're the reason I do this.
Nice. I love it. And then lastly, since you've made the reference a couple times, were you a big Harry Potter guy? And have you ever been to? I live out here in LA. The Harry Potter ride at Universal is pretty cool. I don't know how big a fan you are.
I am actually. Funny story. We went to Orlando a couple years ago to Harry Potter World in Orlando, and having kids and doing amusement parks is a little tougher, especially when they're younger. And so my wife and I would trade off on like the adult rides. And I sat in line. My wife's going to kill me for telling this story, but this is her biggest failure in our marriage yet. I woke up and I got front of the line before the park opened. And then I had my wife meet me so that she could be the first on the new Hagrid ride. And so, because I had already ridden it. And so I was like, okay, look, you'll be the first because that line, like it's like a 4-hour wait.
I bet.
And So I was like, okay, just leave the girls with me. We'll meet you there. You go run and get front line. And she runs past the Hagrid's ride. She's like, I got the hippogriff ride where I'm the first one. I'm like, no one cares about that ride. I was
Nobody
like,
cares.
the whole purpose of me waking up 2 hours early before the park and standing in line for 2 hours was for you to ride this darn ride. And she overshot. I was like, did you not grow up going to amusement parks? Like, how, like, why would you do this? I was so mad. I literally, I was so, so mad at my wife. It caused a huge fight.
I can
And
imagine. Like that's
now it's been,
legitimately like that's a fail on her part. Not for nothing.
yeah,
Sorry.
no, it's now become a huge joke. Even my parents called her and like, Jen, how did you mess that one up? Like my parents, everybody, her sister, everybody called her and like, and to this day, we've never let her live it down. And so
Well,
now the whole world knows that Jen
yeah. Now we all know.
not
Now
going
we all
on
know.
the Hagrid ride.
Well, look at like you said though, amusement parks with kids are a whole thing. She's got three of them. You guys have a lot to deal with,
Yeah.
but yeah, that is a legitimate fail.
Yeah, it was fun though. She did make it up. Like the very last day, she's like, "I'm gonna wake up early and I'm gonna
Yeah,
go." And so she did. She ended up getting to ride it, and she's like, "I
nice.
regret not doing it the day that you set it up for me."
Well, cool. Well, so and now I'm forgetting though if at the end, if at the end of the fight, if you called somebody out specifically, I don't remember.
I didn't. I just called
Okay.
Tops uh,
Yeah.
cards and asked to be on one, and then
Yeah.
I don't really have like anybody in mind. Like I wouldn't mind fighting a grappler. I've been fighting these power punchers. I would
Yeah.
really like to fight a grappler so I can kind of show off my striking a little bit.
Hmm.
Because I'm gonna go wherever I have the biggest skill gap.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean we'll see what happens. I would like to fight if they return to Salt Lake. I'd like to fight in
Hmm.
Salt Lake. So we'll
Yeah.
see.
Cool. 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 All right. Well, congratulations on the win. As I said, only the 12th triangle armbar in UFC history, so that's pretty cool. You're already in the record books, and yeah, it was an excellent win. And now everybody knows, just look out. Look, he's gonna
Yeah,
do his thing. He's
watch
gonna
your
do
neck,
his
protect your
thing.
neck.
Protect your neck. Well, thank you so much for kicking back with me, and I hope when you do celebrate with your family, you have an enjoyable Father's Day a week later. And yeah, just congrats on the win, and I'm looking forward to seeing your next fight.
Thank you, Karyn. I appreciate it. Thank you for all you do. You're fantastic.
Thanks. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.
Bye.